We're getting new ones.
Okay, I call to order this regular scheduled meeting of the 34th City Council for November 19, 2024 at 7 p.m. I'd like to ask everyone in attendance to please silence your phones or communication devices as to not disturb the meeting. Mr. Clerk, can we have the roll?
Councilmember Enos.
Here.
Councilmember Hammoud.
Here.
Councilmember Abraham.
Here.
Councilmember Paris.
Here.
Councilmember El Sawafi.
Here.
Councilmember Herrick.
Here.
Council President Sereni.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay, at this time, I'd like to turn the meeting over to Council President Pro Temp Leslie Herrick.
Thank you, Council President. It is my pleasure this evening to introduce Pastor Dan Ramthun of Guardian Lutheran Church, who will give the invocation at tonight's meeting. Everyone who is able, please rise for the invocation and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Not singing the national anthem.
I'm sorry.
With Thanksgiving next week, I chosen 3 verses. Psalm 136. Give thanks to the Lord, for he is good, for his steadfast love endures forever. Give thanks to the God of gods, for his steadfast love endures forever. Give thanks to the Lord of lords, for his steadfast love endures forever. And we pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you. So many things to be thankful to you for. All the blessings you give to us. We thank you for our elected officials and all of our employees, first responders, and business owners, families, residents here in Dearborn, and how blessed we are. We thank you for that. We just pray your guidance on this meeting tonight. May all things be done to your glory and for the good of all people. We pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Pastor. All right, we will begin with our public comment section. The council rules that were enacted on this term allows for up to 30 minutes for public comment prior to the business items being heard to better serve our residents. If anyone in the, Mr. Clerk, will start at 7:03.
Okay.
If anyone in the public would like to address the council regarding city business, we have comment cards on the side. You don't have to do that as well. If you'd like to just be recognized, you can come forward and state your name and address for a record. Just a kind reminder, there's a 3-minute limitation. And again, please keep it to city business. Speak? No, just getting the agenda, okay. Oh, perfect. Okay, hearing and seeing none. Mr. Clerk, I will close the public comment section, this portion. And before we move to the consent agenda, are there any items that any member wishes to remove from the consent agenda to discuss individually? Okay, hearing none. Mr. Clerk, you may proceed.
We will do a roll call vote for the resolution but I need an offer and support.
Offer.
Well, yeah. Okay, yeah, I thought you were going to ask for the offer and support for, I thought you have to read it in. Do you have to read anything into that part regarding the?
Yeah, let me read that in.
Yeah.
Resolution in need of an offer and support, approving all the items on the consent agenda and requesting immediate effect.
Okay, there's offer by Councilman El Sawafi, supported by Councilman Hammoud. Any questions or comments? Okay, Mr. Clerk, can we have a roll call vote?
Councilmember Enos.
Yes.
Councilmember Hammoud.
Yes.
Councilmember Abraham.
Yes.
Councilmember Paris.
Yes.
Councilmember El Sawafi.
Yes.
Councilmember Herrick.
Yes.
Council President Sereni.
Yes.
7 yeas, the resolution passes.
Okay, next item, please.
So we'll move on to item number 16 on the agenda, resolution by council members Herrick and Enos approving the minutes of the previous regular meeting of October 22nd, 2024.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Clerk. Is there any additions, deletions, or modifications to the minutes? Okay, hearing and seeing none. Any objection to unanimous roll? Unanimous roll should be attached. Next item.
Item 17, resolution by council members Abraham and Paris approving the minutes of the previous special meeting of October 23rd, 2024.
Okay, are there any additions, deletions, or modifications to these minutes? Okay, any objection to unanimous roll? Unanimous roll shall be attached. Next item, yeah.
Item 18, resolution by council members Abraham and El Sawafi approving the minutes of the previous special meeting of October 29th, 2024.
Okay, are there any additions, deletions, or modification to these minutes? Okay, the objection, unanimous roll? Okay, unanimous roll shall be attached. Mr. Clerk, before we move to 19, I'd like to get an offer of support to suspend the council rules to bring forward our HR director. Oh, okay, so we have an offer by Councilman El Sawafi, supported by Councilman Enos, to suspend the rules. So we have our HR director here at request of the council to talk about our preferred employer status and a few other things. So we wanted to have her come forward and just state your name and position, and then we'll entertain any questions from the council.
Good evening, Danielle Cheney, Director of Human Resources.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
So regarding we had some questions on Thursday, the committee of the whole regarding, from the council regarding a preferred employment status, or how does that look, and what is the advantage of that to people that are applying here to work for the city of Dearborn?
Absolutely. So I'll try to make this short because I can be long-winded. So the preferred employer status, just for clarification, is not an official designation, but it is something more so internal that myself and my team have come up with to kind of set as our objective in terms of improving the way that our HR team functions and can reach out to our citizens, our residents of Dearborn, and make their experience a little easier, a little more straightforward. So that being said, I can kind of tell you some touch points that we've already begun to impact. For instance, one, we have decreased the number of vacancies within the city of Dearborn. So what that tells, or the employment opportunities. So what that tells us is that residents are able to apply easier, residents are able to get real-time feedback quicker. From fiscal year 23 to 24, we had an average of about 60 vacancies. From then to now, we've gotten all the way down to 32 vacancies on an average monthly basis. So that kind of speaks volumes to myself and my team. We have contracted with Paycom. So some of these things are still coming down the pipeline, but the purpose of Paycom was so that we could make the entire life cycle of employment for an individual way easier. So in a nutshell, what we've done is automated a lot of processes and are in the process of automating a lot of processes. So now individuals will be able to see employment opportunities on probably over 300 job boards, whereas before it was maybe 5 or 10. So ease of locating us. Once they are referred by family or friends, they're able to go right to our website or to any of those 300 job boards to apply. They can upload a resume, do a one-click apply, so that, they don't have to go in and manually enter a bunch of information. They are able to get real-time updates on the status of their applications. So that kind of solidifies everything in terms of making it easy on their end. And in short, we like to take that whole frame of thought and follow it through the entire life cycle of an individual. So once we've interviewed them, onboarded them, we are implementing touch bases with all new hires. So after 30 days, they'll be able to give us feedback on what they enjoyed or did not enjoy about the onboarding process. They're just starting to get to know the leadership team, and they can give us feedback on the things that we can do to improve our processes. And again, that structure and format carries all the way through to the end of the employment cycle for an individual, which we hope is retirement. But if it's voluntary and they resign, or if it's involuntary and they're terminated, obviously it'll be done justly and professionally. And the end game is to make sure that anyone who leaves the city of Dearborn is able to recommend us to the next set of individuals to go through that same cycle again. So we've implemented Paycom to help automate the processes. We're starting to see some of our internal KPIs decrease in the areas they should be decreasing and increase in the areas, applicant flow, things along those lines. The time to fill has decreased. We're still calculating those numbers, and now we have an official reporting mechanism through Paycom, so I'll be able to speak to those more in the future. But we are looking to impact all those areas of HR so that we are an employer of choice that individuals will seek out and want to come work for over our competitors. We've also, this is the main one, I don't know how I skipped over this. We have also gone with the comp study from being in the 50th percentile in terms of competitive compensation to about the 70th percentile, so that's huge.
Yeah, that's substantial.
That's substantial.
Well, thank you for that. I appreciate it. Let me see if our colleagues have any questions for you, but I appreciate the update, especially the fact that, because we were always concerned for us aspect of budgeting, when we budget for people that are not there.
Yes.
You know, that's a concern because that means work is not being able to be expedited.
Yeah.
So we do appreciate you. That's a huge difference, bringing that down to the vacancies, because that's always a concern for the council. So for my colleagues, is there any questions or comments for the director? Councilman Pierce.
Thank you, Council President. Just wanted to ask, during the committee of the whole, I asked about the preferred status and what it means, so I really appreciate you coming up as part of the administration and explaining that. My only thought about this, and I'm sure it's being done, is how do we plan on using that as a tool to entice people to go ahead and join the job force here within the city of Dearborn? What are we doing to publicize this, that we are a preferred employer?
Very good question. So the first notification of employment opportunities to individuals is our job postings. We've got good job postings now. We're in the process, which it may sound like it's a small project, but actually is one of our bigger projects, is we'll be partnering with marketing and communications to develop these new, and I don't know if they knew that, to kind of get their eyes to see what type of industry things we can do to make these job postings more attractive, bring them up to 2024 standards, and really jump out and stand out beyond other employers' job postings. So that's one thing. And on that posting, we'll also be advertising that we are moving up in terms of our competitive compensation. Through bargaining, we've added an additional vacation day. We have just over 3 weeks of paid holidays. That is huge.
Paid holidays at any level of government in the whole country.
Yeah, that's huge. That's a major selling point. So,
For us, it's not.
What's the easiest?
I know it's not for us, and I know. I can tell when they're off hiking. That's a good thing. Keeps you
How would you
healthy.
direct then people that are seeking employment with the city? What is the easiest way to find out information about jobs within the city?
cityofdearborn.gov.
Dearborn.
I'm sorry. I knew that. I was just making sure you were listening.
Hey, that's a
And
good
there's
one.
a link within Human Resources tab
Just go
on
to
the city.
dearborn.gov, at the
Right.
bottom it says, join the team or work with us, one or the other.
Okay.
Or they are more than welcome to call me directly, me or anyone on my team.
Well, thank you so much. We appreciate your work and appreciate the update, and especially of filling those vacancies. We
Thank
do
you.
appreciate it. Any other questions or from my colleagues? Councilman
Thank you, Council
Alsawat?
President. No, I just want to say, look, I take great pride in our employees that, you know, at the leadership of the mayor and yourself, great talent, everybody from the director all the way to the entry-level employees, helping pick up leads or whatnot. And I just want to let you know, I'm happy to support any initiative to bring on more great employees, and I'm sure my council colleagues feel the same way.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? All right, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Appreciate you coming in.
Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Clerk, can we return to the regular agenda item now?
Okay, we'll go back to item number 19, ordinance on the table, ordinance number 24-1829, an ordinance to amend the offenses chapter 14 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Dearborn by amending Article 1 of Section 14-10 entitled Alarm Systems, resolution by council members Herrick and Enos to take from the table for its final reading.
Okay, unanimous roll shall be attached to take from its table for its final reading. Ordinance Section 14-10, commonly referred to as the False Alarms Ordinance, regulates false alarms within the city and fees assessed to alarm users when the police or fire department is responding to a false alarm. Under the existing ordinance, there is a 5-tier structure assessing fees from anywhere from $0 charge to $110 to up to $1,100 for the 10th call in a 12-month calendar period. Appeals for the false alarms go through a security board system, which is comprised of the police chief and 2 members. The proposed amendments of this new ordinance is being addressed to address inequities of the ordinance, particularly as they relate to alarm users that experience extraordinary circumstances such as illness, death, which results to false alarms being assessed against the person or the estate or its inhabitants of the business or home. The proposed amendments reduce the fees assessed for false alarms, abolishes the security board, and replaces it with administrative appeals handled by the chief of police, establishes criteria for the police chief that the police chief must use in reviewing the appeals, and limits the number of false alarms that can be waived in a single 12-month period. This is the second and final reading of this ordinance. Is there any questions or comments on this item? Okay. Mr. Clerk, can we have the final reading?
This is the final reading of ordinance number 24-1829, an ordinance to amend the offenses chapter, chapter 14 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Dearborn by amending Article 1 of Section 14-10 entitled Alarm Systems.
Okay, Mr. Clerk, can we have a roll call vote?
Councilmember Enos.
Yes.
Councilmember Hamud.
Yes.
Councilmember Abraham.
Yes.
Councilmember Paris.
Yes.
Councilmember El Sawafi.
Yes.
Councilmember Herrick.
Yes.
Council President Sereni.
Yes.
7 yeas, the ordinance passes.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Clerk. Next item.
Item number 20, ordinance on the table, ordinance number 24-1830, an ordinance to amend the nuisances chapter, chapter 13 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Dearborn by amending section 13.5 entitled Notice to Abate and 13-5.1 entitled Immediate Abatement. Resolution by Council Members Herrick and Hamud to take from the table for its final reading.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Any natural shall be attached to take from the table for its final reading. Under the existing ordinances, owners or occupants that receive a notice of violation or NOV have a limited period of time to abate, usually 3 to 10 days for regular abatements, and some abatements up to 10 days. After posting the NOV, inspectors must re-inspect the property to verify whether the nuisance has been abated by the owner or occupant, or if the city needs to abate the property. The re-inspection is often delayed due to the number of inspections or high number of nuisance or abatements that have to happen, and just first course of staffing. This has resulted in increased costs for basement contractors, since the cost recovery under the ordinance is currently limited to a situation where the city has to abate the violation. The proposed amendment will do the following. It reduces the maximum time of an owner occupant has to abate a violation from 10 days down to 5. This also shifts the burden, the requirement to the owner occupant to contact the city within a time period and notify whether the violation has been abated or not. The city acts to abate the violation. If the city acts to abate the violation, a service fee of 50% of the cost of abatement will be charged if the violator has not notified that the abatement has been completed. This is the second and final reading. I know there was a lot of questions during the first 2 meetings regarding this. And if I'm correct, we had, who was offering this? Did we have, is this a delayed, Mr. Romer, is your opinion, this a delayed start till January, or what is the status on this one? Because I know we had questions regarding.
On the last page. It is, it's effective date of the ordinance, very last page, January 1 of 2025.
All right, so that was on the request of the council. January 1st of 2025, it will begin to give an opportunity and a process in order for the administration to find what's the best means. I just want to make sure it's clear, because I don't think we put it in the writing. But Mayor, there will be an email, a record for the resident. We prefer it on the council, unless I hear objection, that there be an email, because to put the onus and the burden on the resident, they have to have some kind of proof that they had emailed something.
We're all writing proof, correct.
Yeah. So you're in agreement with that. Okay. Does anybody have any other questions or comments? I think that was the biggest thing to make sure that it's done.
Just make a comment.
Councilwoman Herrick.
So just to reiterate, it's really important if somebody does get a notice of violation on their property to immediately follow up with the phone number on the notice with the inspector who gave them that notice, to let them know as soon as they take care of fixing whatever the violation was. Or if they have a question about it, call right away, because there's now less time in order to deal with it. And if you open those lines of communication, then the city knows where you are in the process of trying to take care of whatever it is that needs to be fixed. And that really makes it easier for everybody, but especially the residents, to know what's expected of them and what the timeline is, and who the contact is at the city if they have any further questions.
Yep. We do appreciate it, just trying to make things more efficient. I just want to make sure we have some type of record for the resident so that they can, get everything done. Hopefully, the whole goal is for compliance, so hopefully that will make everything go smoothly. All right, any other questions or comments? All right, if not, Mr. Clerk, can we have the final reading?
This is the final reading of ordinance number 24-1830, an ordinance to amend the nuisance chapter, Chapter 13 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Dearborn by amending Section 13.5 entitled Notice to Abate and 13-5.1 entitled Immediate Abatements.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Can we have a roll call vote?
Councilmember Hamud.
Yes.
Councilmember Abraham.
Yes.
Councilmember Paris.
Yes.
Councilmember El Sawafi.
Yes.
Councilmember Herrick.
Yes.
Council President Sereni.
Yes.
Councilmember Enos.
Yes.
7 yeas, the ordinance passes.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Next item.
Item 21, ordinance number 24-1831, introduced by Councilmember El Sawafi. Synopsis, an ordinance to amend the zoning ordinance of the City of Dearborn by amending Section 17.03 of Article 17.00 entitled Development Standards, resolution by Councilmembers Hamud and Herrick to table the ordinance.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Currently, the east downtown is regulated via a zoning overlay known as the BD Business Downtown District, which provides specific design standards that are applicable from the top of typical zoning requirements. The proposed amendment will create a public parking exemption area in the east downtown. This mirrors the parking exemption that exists currently in the west downtown. The Planning Commission recommends approval of this amendment. There is approximately 2,750 public parking spaces in the east downtown. A recent study showed that only 36% occupancy for public parking is in this area, meaning that the supply of parking exceeds the current demand. The proposed amendment would have an immediate impact on the east downtown by eliminating a significant barrier to open a business within the area of the East DDA. Any questions or comments? This is the first reading. Okay, Mr. Clerk, can we have the first reading?
This is the first reading of ordinance number 24-1831, an ordinance to amend the zoning ordinance of the City of Dearborn by amending Section 17.03 of Article 17.00 entitled Development Standards.
All right, any questions or comments? Okay. Any objection, unanimous roll? Unanimous roll shall be attached. Next item.
Item 22, resolution by Councilmembers El Sawafi and Enos authorizing the use and closure of West Village Drive between Howard and Tenney Street between the east and west parking structures and to close the basement of the east parking deck from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. on Saturday, December 14th, 2024 for the West Dearborn Downtown Development Authority's second annual Jingle Bell Bash taking place from 2 p.m. to 7 p.m., also authorizing a noise waiver for the duration of the event and requesting immediate effect.
All right, thank you, Mr. Clerk. The West Dearborn DDA will hold its second annual Jingle Bell Bash on December 14th, 2024 from 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. This holiday event will feature a variety of family-friendly activities such as face painting and photos with Santa, food and entertainment for visitors. To protect the pedestrians and safety and accessibility between the Peace Park West and West Village Commons Plaza during this event, it is requested that the West Village Drive, between Howard and Tenney be temporarily closed between the entrance and exit points of the adjacent parking lots between 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. This will ensure that guests will walk safely between the grand opening activities and the Peace Park West and any potential programming at the West Village Commons Plaza. Additionally, it's being requested the waiver of the noise ordinance during the same event times. This event is funded through the West Dearborn Downtown Authority budget, which is approved by the council each year, and immediate effect is being requested. Any questions or comments on this? Okay. Any objection to unanimous roll? Okay, unanimous roll should be attached. Next item.
Item 23, resolution by Councilmembers Herrick and Abraham authorizing a sole source purchase from Universal Laundry Machinery in the amount of $72,089 for the purchase of turnout gear extractor machines for the fire department and requesting immediate effect.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Clerk. The fire department has received an Assistance to Firefighters Grant Award to purchase new firefighter turnout gear extractors. The turnout gear extractors are large commercial-style washing machines that are designed to remove contaminants and carcinogens from the protective gear worn during firefighting and emergency response. This equipment is also compliant with the NFPA 1851 standard, which sets the standard for proper cleaning of firefighter garments. The fire department does currently have extractors that they purchased approximately 20 years ago. The existing extractors are no longer supported by the manufacturer and are well past their expected service life. The fire department, in conjunction with purchasing, recommends the authorizing and purchase of the turnout gear extraction machines from University Laundry Machinery for the cost of $72,089. The purchase of this equipment is to ensure the health and safety of our firefighters. It is requested that council authorize the purchase with immediate effect. Any questions or comments on this? Councilwoman Herrick?
I appreciate that we are updating this equipment. A lot of people don't think about this if they haven't been to the department, the fire department, or had the conversations, but the incidence of cancer among firefighters is very high, unfortunately, and having the appropriate gear, turnout gear when they're out fighting fires, but also to clean that gear when they're done is really important in continuing to try to stop the carcinogens from reaching the firefighters so that they don't end up getting cancer later in their lives. So it's a very important investment, in addition, of course, to having the appropriate number of staff and firefighters and the equipment that they need on the day-to-day basis. The follow-up is equally important. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Any objection, unanimous roll? Okay, unanimous roll should be attached. Next item.
Item 24, resolution by council members Enos and El Sawafi authorizing to renew the contract with Klotchko Equipment Rental Company in the amount of $159,400 for bulk leaf pickup and hauling for the fall season and requesting immediate effect.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Clerk. During the fall season, the city crews pick up and haul between 20 to 25,000 cubic yards of leaves from the city streets during the public service days. The supplemental contract will provide the city with qualified contractor to provide additional equipment and operators to assist the city personnel in hauling loose leaves from the city streets during the leaf collection program time period. Including in the upcoming 24-25 season, the cost of the service provider by Klotchko, is that how you pronounce it, George?
Well, sure. Let's go with that.
I want to make sure. Has remained unchanged for the 3 seasons. The service provided has met the DPW expectations. Klotchko, is that how you pronounce it? Klotchko? I'm going to have the director come up anyways because we got a question on this. Thank you. We'll get to the bottom of it. The requested amount is $159,400 and requested that council authorize the renewal of this contract with immediate effect for service to begin the week of November 25th. Director?
Good evening, Councilman Cole, Village Deputy Director, DPW.
All right, so the leaf season is coming, and I have to say, it's here, you're almost done. Yeah. What I can say factually is that we know without question from myself and from my colleagues, we have had less and less complaints about the pickup, so that's a great news. The question I think we want to make sure the residents know, and that's why we put the map up there, is it's not specifically on your public service day anymore. So I know the signs, can you give us some update on
Yeah,
the new
absolutely.
process of how the leaves are getting picked up?
Yeah, so this is a new program that DPW started this year. Obviously, it's a pilot this year. We're running it to see. We are improving our services, trying to make the residents an easier system. So we're not leaving an area, we're starting in one area and sweeping through. Successfully, we swept the whole city in 2 weeks, which has never been done. We already started our second sweep, which is amazing. And we're anticipating people, instead of having 2 pickups, we'll have 3 pickups this season.
Oh, 3?
Yeah, based on our service and how we're moving so efficiently, because we're leaving the equipment, so we're not moving from east to west, east to west. And we've had less breakdowns, and we're maintaining our equipment a lot more efficiently now. So this is working very well for us. It is a change for residents, and we understand that, and we're trying to do our best. The city's website is the best place to find the information. We update it every day. We update our phone line as well, so you can always call the loose leaf hotline. It is 313-943-2444.
We got a loose leaf hotline number?
We do. And you
great.
can find out where we're working at, where we'll be, and where we might end
$5 hot
up.
and ready when you call.
I thought it was one number, that's good.
Yes, so, but the interactive map, for people who don't know, the new city's website, we worked really hard on that. So
Yes.
it's got the sections that were completed, where we plan to be, and where our future plans to be. And then if you scroll down after the map, it gives you each district, so it explains like the perimeters and where we start and finish. So then you can anticipate it based off of that. We also put up signs that are multi-language, both sides, one's English, one's Arabic, to warn you like, hey, we're coming, please get your leaves out.
Yeah.
Best practice, when your leaves fall, please just rake them to the street. We are moving very quickly. It's a good thing, but I know this is a big change for Dearborn residents, and we're excited to see it through and hopefully be able to anticipate, give people dates in the future, so.
Well, we do appreciate it, and like I said, I mean, regardless of how the changes and working through the logistics of it, the complaints are less and the leaves are off the ground, and that's what we're trying to do, so we do appreciate that.
And just a note, if you have some leaves that are left over in the road after the trucks leave, it's organic material. It will
eventually go
It will eventually go away. It's good for your grass.
Well, thank you very much. Any other questions or comments? This will work. We hope so. Councilman Al-Sawafi.
Thank you, Council President. First off, Director, you're doing a great job. I see your crew out there. They're working hard, so I really appreciate you and them, specifically for your strategy and continuous improvement. I have two questions. One, the new trucks, the vacuum trucks, how are they doing?
Those are great. Those do our outskirts and like the main streets, so Cherry
Okay.
Hill, Military, streets that people can't always put their leaves in the street to block the roadway. That's
Got
our
it.
main
So you
focus
can
with
pick up
those
the-
streets. Yes, because we don't want to impede roadways, so that's where those leaf vac trucks mainly are in the main street. There are dragways. We're moving so quickly with that they're circling back, and they're helping assist on the loose leaf program as well. So you'll often see that they're helping sections finish up as well, so.
Are they also reducing manpower? that's
Yeah,
needed?
we do, we did reduce manpower, but it's more people out
Doing other things? Yeah.
doing other things, so it's
That's
a good
awesome.
strategy and it's working well.
And I know you're doing a lot of changes and they're working. As far as the location of the bulk hold, where are they at right now?
So they're in 4 locations, Levigood Park, Ford Field, Crowley, Hemlock, and the DPW yard. But we do have a contractor who's gonna be actively working to remove those leaves. So,
Okay. And now, and I know you're doing a great job in changing some things. Can you consider maybe if it makes sense to remove the bulk hold at Levigood? I know Council President also alluded to.
Yeah, we brought it up on the committee of the whole,
The
yeah.
whole-
I had spoken to the mayor, so I was leaving it not for the public, but I do agree. I mean, that's the biggest problem. I mean, if you look at it, Councilman Al-Sawafi, to add on to it, since I brought it up on Thursday, and I know, Director, it's really administrative aspect, but for me, all the other parks that we are putting them, we're not putting them at Hemlock, are we?
yeah, yeah.
Okay, but Hemlock is, there is houses,
There's
there is residential
Mm-hmm.
around there. Level Good seems to be the highest complaint area because, I mean, I had one resident said, you take them off mine, put them there, and they pull right back. And I'm just wondering, for me, when we had the park opening regarding the new facility over there at Crowley, there is a entrance off a gully with a tremendous amount of open space and parking spots that the leaves could go there as opposed to Level Good. As you see, there's hardly any complaints at Ford Woods, or any at all, because of the location and the massive size of it. Do we do it at Ford Woods? Ford Field, I'm sorry.
Ford Woods is not this year because it's under construction due to.
Yeah.
But yes.
So, but I think, I've spoken to the mayor regarding it just to see, like I said, it's hard to complain or ask for something to be done because the leaves being picked up is the biggest thing. But Level Good area, the homes are so close, proximity completely around. It just, to me, doesn't make any sense why we don't take them somewhere else.
Yeah.
That's my concern, and I think my colleagues agreed with me on, hey, is there a better alternative? And I know that, going 40 minutes away, the whole purpose of putting them in an area to go back and pick them up is a transfer center and an ability to alleviate these off the street immediately, which we all agree. But driving a little further to Crowley could alleviate the issue at Level Good because it's been a concern. And Level Good is the one that made us realize that the contractor in the previous administration had no date to picked them up once a year. I mean, it was just a disaster. There was no continuity of service on that. So I know that that's been rectified through legal and new contracts, and they are being picked up in a more steadfast manner. But actually being dumped there, I just feel that there's a better location. If it's an extra 4 or 5 minutes, it's still a lot better than others and alleviates the problem around Level Good.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah. Let me just see if Councilman also.
No, that's exactly, I agree. They're resident facing, Levigood is, so.
Every park is.
Yeah.
Well, not as much as Levigood.
No, we
disagree.
appreciate the feedback and.
Yeah, I mean, regardless if it's everywhere else, Level Good is where we're getting the complaints from.
Sure.
So that, so we have to make sure, and then we see people dumping, and what happens, as you know, Level Good, there's probably a lot more people, for example, I know we like data, but there's probably more people that have lawn services in those areas, and they might see that as an opportunity to dump. So that's another disadvantage of having it there as well. But we had a few more comments and questions, I think, who was first? Councilman Hamud?
So one thing I just wanted to pitch in that we talked about at Committee of the Whole that I really appreciated that we haven't talked about is you guys are also using the new upfitted trucks with the data analytics and tracking that you're actually able to figure out what kind of routes you guys are taking and optimizing it for time. So I think that's something that came in under this administration, the new directors. So, thank you guys for that. And actually, I really appreciated that part because we always talk about vehicle connectivity and how the data, it can sometimes exist, and then actually turning that data into something that's useful. I really appreciated that. And obviously, this is the first year you guys are doing it. Like we're talking about dump sites. I think for me, I understand why the dump sites are where they are. I appreciate that you guys are optimizing it. I really like that you guys are actually running ahead of schedule, which some people are unhappy about. But a bonus pickup is a bonus pickup. We only promise twice a year, and by optimizing our systems, we're able to get more. So I think my big thing is, and I'll tell everybody even at home, it's like bear with us a year, and we're trying to get this as good as possible. But what I really appreciate is that you guys are enabling the ability to learn from what you guys are doing this year. And actually, again, it sounds easy and it sounds intuitive to people who have never ran an organization. But being able to, change that mentality and actually start innovating in the way that you do things, I think that's one of those things that anytime a department rolls something out like that, especially with a pre-existing organization, I can really appreciate that. So good job to you guys for that, and hopefully we'll continue to see those improvements in the future.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Paris.
Thank you, Council President. Just a couple questions here. I appreciate the comment earlier about the organic material that's on the ground. Are we still using street sweepers?
We are not.
And still through the leaf pickup, we will possibly be doing that?
The street sweepers?
Yes.
So the street sweepers end when
Right.
when leaf collection begins. We do not use them during the
Okay.
season.
I just want to make sure that was clear to people,
Yes.
that you will not see a street sweeper
That
coming
is
down the
correct.
street after the leaves are picked up.
No.
We're expecting snow on Thursday, so do you have times that actually the possibility of weather is going to impede picking up, like the rainfall? Does that have any effect on you?
So it depends on how much snow we get. If we don't get more than 3 inches, it shouldn't impede any practice that we do. I mean, we know the area we're in, we're still gonna pick it up. It loads the same if there's snow on it or not. So,
What about any complaints about residents saying that my street was missed? My area was picked up, but my street was missed. Should they still be calling that 2444 number?
they can absolutely call. They can also call the call center. We have the tracking data. We can send a supervisor back by. We know if they've been there or not, and we take care of any complaints that come
So would
in.
it be the best number to call, 2150?
I would say that 943-2150. It's the call center. They know. They have the
Not
active
the
map as
hotline.
well.
Yeah.
The hotline is the leaf. You can call after hours and you know where we're at. The hotline's a loose leaf hotline.
Okay.
You can also call that during the day, but
And if I could ask then too, what is the last date for the leaf pickup?
it was the second week of December. Not sure of that date. I think the 15th. I don't remember.
Yeah, in the past administration, Councilman, you're right, that date kept moving. But it also was
It's
the
weather
inability of
dependent.
the weather and us getting them off the ground, but it looks like they're ahead of schedule now, so.
Yeah, okay, thank you, appreciate it.
Yep, thanks. Council, just one?
Yeah.
Councilwoman Herrick?
Thank you. Having worked in the Department of Public Information years ago and fielding calls of trying to figure out what week are they coming, and if they don't finish my neighborhood this week, when they were here and they didn't finish my neighborhood, when are they coming back? And we didn't know. They weren't necessarily back within a week because they were on to different neighborhoods.
Right.
And so it could be leaves were in the street on the right day, but then they end up there for weeks. And this program ensures that the leaves get picked up within a couple of days
Yes.
of when the date was announced that they'd be picked up. So just two questions. One, what's the average amount of time it's taking to get through a district? I know it's pretty quick.
2 to 3 days. And it just depends, honestly. The volume of leaves depends on how long we're there, frankly. So, I mean, some districts are a lot shorter, and that's where we're moving through. And we're also moving those signs. We have people out there moving signs, so that is like a whole nother task of us trying to catch up to that as well. But 2 to 3 days is our average time in a district, and we've been moving so efficiently, it's like 1 to 2 days, so.
Which is so phenomenal because it's efficient, as you said, to get the leaves out of a neighborhood at once, and also to less inconvenience to the residents to try to keep their cars off the street for more than a day, because that is a challenge, especially in neighborhoods where they don't have as much driveway space. And that's been one of the concerns is we're supposed to keep our cars off the street several days.
Right.
So I appreciate how fast it's going so that people can get back to their regular routines of where they can
People
park their
parking spots
cars.
back too. when we-
Yep, definitely.
Thank
Well,
you.
we do appreciate it. I know we have a couple last comment, and I just have a little something to wrap up. Councilman Enos.
Yes. If you bag your leaves, what's the last day prior they will pick up your leaves?
It is also the exact same day
Exact same thing?
as the loose leaf flushing, so that's also on the calendar. It shows the last day priority picks up and the last day public service day ends as well.
Thank you.
Excellent. And then I know the mayor, and I know the videos, we've been seeing some videos regarding our new vacuum truck and so on, and now there's even a possibility of a vacuum trailer to
Yes,
pick up the leaves. So I
we're
know
looking
that.
into that.
Yeah, I know you are, Mayor, because so people know, correct me if I'm wrong, I know the mayor, you know as well. In the past, we had 4 people doing now we only have 2 doing the same job. It's
6
like-
technically, because there's 4 on the back, 1
So
operating.
6 on one truck location, and now it's down to 2?
Yeah, because we have one person, yeah.
Yeah, so when you go from 6 people working in one area for the same job as doing 2, it's substantially different. And as we've seen, we got the leaf truck, and we thought it was innovative, but there's a lot of other cities that have them as well. And now we're looking at other, like trailer utilities that do that. So these are important, and for our residents, it's not only a service. I mean, the safety is paramount, and what happens when these leaves sit on the ground and they get ice on them, it becomes like a ice rink. And accidents happen, so there is a purpose on why we do this. So we do appreciate all the work, and I wanted to thank you, because I know you're running the show, and I know you were running the show before, but I know our director's off on a little leave, but we want to thank you for always being here prompt and always getting to the root cause. I like getting to the root cause of any problem, get it fixed. So I want to thank you very much, appreciate it.
Thank you for that.
All right, any other questions or comments? Okay, any objection to unanimous roll? Unanimous roll shall be attached. Next item.
Item 25, resolution by council members Paris and El-Sawafi authorizing to renew the contract with Michigan State Police in an amount not to exceed $200,000 for armed police service at Camp Dearborn from October 1st, 2024 through November 1st, 2029, and requesting immediate effect.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. The Michigan State Police has provided armed police services at Camp Dearborn since 2018. They provided 24/7 from Memorial Day through Labor Day, including coverage on all Fridays, Saturdays in the month of October. The contract covers all Michigan State Police officers' wages, overtime costs, as well as mileage to and from Camp Dearborn. It is requested the City Council authorize the renewal of the 5-year contract with the Michigan State Police Services at Camp Dearborn. The contract is dated October 1st, 2024, and runs through September 30th of 2029. The requested amount is $200,000, which is approved in the 2025 budget for recreation of the Camp Dearborn. Any questions or comments on this item? Any objection to unanimous roll? Unanimous roll shall be attached. Next item.
Item 26, resolution by council members Herrick and Paris approving the application of Zambelli Fireworks. They're at 120 Marshall Drive in Warrendale, Pennsylvania, for a special events permit in order to conduct fireworks displays at Greenfield Village 2024 Holiday Nights fireworks shows on December 5th through 8th, 12th through 15th, 17th through 23rd, and December 26th through 28th. Also authorizing the fire chief to set rain dates as needed and requesting immediate effect.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Clerk. The Greenfield Village is requesting the City Council to approve fireworks show from December 5th through 8th, 12th through 15th, 17th through 23rd, and as well as 26th through the 28th of this year at 10 p.m. each night. The display will take place at 20900 Oakwood. Also requesting the fire chief is allowed to set a rain date as needed for temporary weather, as well as a noise ordinance waiver. The fire marshal has reviewed the plan and has approved the setup and emergency planning. Any questions or comments on this item? Chief, I'm not sure if it's from your department, but we did have a question regarding the duration. Is this more dates than the past? We wasn't sure from the last years.
Good evening, Council. Fire Chief Joseph Murray. Yeah, I reviewed the one from last year, so it looks like they added Thursdays in addition to Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Okay, so we thought, yeah, we were wondering, so it is more days.
Yeah.
All right, so how many more days would there be? 3 more? Just 3 more? Every Thursday would be 3 more?
You know, I have to.
4 weekend, it's 4,
So
With the.
it's 18 now, so,
yeah.
all right. I just, I live in the area. It's extremely loud. We understand it. I mean, people look up for it. It's a great program, but I mean, the fact that they're expanding an additional day, I'm sure they must have the demand for it. I guess we'll have to reevaluate it next year and see, but it is an additional request, so it's an additional Thursday. Used to be Friday, Saturday. 3 days, right? That's what I was thinking, but it's because it was 3 weekends?
Yep.
So it's an additional, they're going Thursday now instead of Friday, Saturday alone.
Yes, that's
No,
correct.
it's 4.
Yeah, but it's 4 weeks,
December.
all 4 weeks have off weeks. if that makes sense.
Okay, not all 4 weeks have Thursdays. Okay.
Yeah, it's just the dates provided, and we do have a good working relationship with the museum in the village. They do, we do staff it with firefighters that they reimburse us for.
Right, I mean, yeah, the costs are reimbursed. I mean, and I know it's a a
It's
community
the
event.
#1 tourist destination in the state of Michigan.
Is it really?
Yep, the villages.
Wow.
2 million visitors a year roughly.
Well, that's great to know.
It's a great event.
No, it is, yeah, but this highlights it. I mean, the museum itself being a destination, and the fireworks have always been good. I was just wondering on how they were expanding it, because it is definitely an expansion, but I guess we'll review and see how it goes next year, but we just wanted to make sure. But all costs are reimbursed on this, right? Is that correct?
Yes, yep. So
Okay.
we do staff it with 2 firefighters each event. They reimburse us for their time. and
Okay.
efforts.
Any other questions or comments from my colleagues? All right, thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Any objection to unanimous roll? Unanimous roll shall be attached. Next item.
Item 27, resolution by council members Herrick and Enos approving a resolution to allow a new art mural to be painted on the north side exterior wall of the Ford Community and Performing Arts Center by the Detroit Institute of Arts, Partners in Public Art Grant, and requesting immediate effect.
All right, thank you, Mr. Clerk. The Parks and Recreation Department has applied for the Detroit Institute of Arts, or DIA, for a grant to create and paint a mural on the exterior of the Ford Performing Community Arts. I think we have a picture of this.
The area.
There you go, the area, perfect. Excellent, yeah, great location. That's what we were wondering. So Partners for Public Art, or PIPA, is a collaborative between the DIA and the Wayne County Art Authority with cities and townships throughout Wayne County to co-create community-driven, highly visible public murals that express the unique stories and interests of each community. The City Council's approval is requesting, the City Council's approval is requested for a resolution for a mural that would be painted on the north side, just on the picture above, on the external of the Ford Community and Performing Arts Center between the gym and the Aquatic Center. This work will take place during the annual maintenance week and shutdown of August 25 through 31st of 2025, and the City of Dearborn will have the final say of the rendering before the work begins. All right, any questions or comments? Councilwoman Herrick.
Thank you, Council President. This is an exciting opportunity for the city of Dearborn. First of all, I appreciate that the Detroit Institute of Arts is making such great programming available out in our communities, since we in Wayne County are all paying tax dollars to help support the DIA, and not everybody gets downtown to see the physical building and the exhibits that are there. So this mural is one of those projects. It's my understanding that the only place that this grant will pay to have a mural put up is on a municipal building. It can't be on non-city-owned property. And to have the resources to paint a mural of this size on the side of the building, it's just really exciting. And I know that they're going to do a fabulous job. And just like a side note, they've been in Dearborn this year through the Inside Out project. You might have seen some of the replicas of famous works of art that were outside of several of our libraries and other locations across Dearborn. I think there were 6 or 8 different pieces this year. And again, that's an opportunity for the public to experience the Detroit Institute of Arts right here in Dearborn. And then finally, I want to give a shout out to the DIA collaborating with the Arab American National Museum. They are partnering a bit on the exhibit that's currently downtown at the DIA called The Art of Dining, Food Culture in the Islamic World. And there are over 230 works of art ranging from vessels in which food is served to decorative pieces that you might see when you're in a dining space somewhere in the Middle East, Central South Asia, Egypt. Those are some of the countries that are featured in that current exhibit, and it is a spectacular exhibit. And again, they've been partnering with the Arab American National Museum with some of the programs there. So anybody that has an opportunity to go downtown and see that, I highly recommend. So thank you, DIA.
All right, excellent. Thank you very much, Councilwoman. Any other questions or comments? Any objection to unanimous roll? The unanimous roll shall be attached. Next item.
Item 28, resolution by council members Al Sawafi and Paris, authorizing the finance director to complete various budget adjustments and appropriations to the fiscal year 2025 budget by decreasing the general fund total revenue in the amount of $387,120 and decreasing the general fund total expenditures in the amount of $468,829. Also authorizing to convert 3 part-time code enforcement officer positions totaling 2.07 FTEs to 1 additional full-time code enforcement officer position.
All right, thank you, Mr. Clerk. Okay, on June 11th, 2024, this body adopted a balanced general fiscal budget for 2025 with an estimated $173,632 in contribution to the general fund or surplus due to the outstanding results in contract negotiations, such as with animal shelter service and also state and revenue sources for 2025 being anticipated. The City Council was advised that the adoption of the budget amendment to this addresses these issues should be anticipated during this fiscal year. So we did have, can we have our director come up, Director Kennedy? We did have some revenue and expenditure changes that they're asking for, which I believe comes to a net positive. So I just want to have our director speak on that.
Good evening, Michael Kennedy, Finance Director.
So, Mr. Kennedy, I know that we had some adjustments in the LCSA, the shared revenue, investment income, recreation rates, but also we also have the expenditures regarding our budgetary reductions as far as employee contracts as well. So what is the net difference?
$81,709 added to the budget surplus we adopted.
Added to the budget surplus. So this is the net positive, and this is really just an accounting housekeeping. But there's also, for my colleagues and for the rest of the people that are watching here, they are requesting that 3 part-time code enforcement officer positions totaling from 2.07 be converted to 1 additional full-time enforcement. With these reductions, there will be a zero budgetary effect at this time. This will allow the city to divide into 7 districts with 1 full-time code enforcement officer assigned per district to enforce both commercial and residential, similar to the districts that we have with our police officers as well. So this is a long time coming to have somebody in each area that will be assigned to it. Do we have any questions or comments? Councilman Herrick?
Thank you, Council President. I'm just glad that we're kind of highlighting what we're doing with code enforcement officers, because oftentimes the public thinks that we don't have officers out there working unless they happen to be the one that gets a notice of violation. And then, of course, they're well aware of it. But this is something that I know that the administration has made this a priority, and it's really important that we have the appropriate number of code enforcement officers out around the city, keeping an eye on making sure things are safe, first and foremost, and keeping the neighborhoods looking good, because unfortunately, if we have properties that get dilapidated or folks that don't realize what the ordinances are, and they break those ordinances, and they're not reminded what they are, other people think that it's okay to do these things. And so that role of code enforcement officer is a really important role in keeping our city looking great and a destination, and setting us apart, frankly, from surrounding communities. So,
Thank you, Councilman. Yeah, just for yeah, Mayor,
So I
absolutely.
had a few points. Our code enforcement team is obviously merged with our vector control team. And just to give you numbers I just got on the 14th of this month. Third quarter 2023 rat complaints, 569. Third quarter 2024 rat complaints, 212. And so they're down about 60%. And so that's a strong metric. We're obviously still working on the Orkin program, and so we're waiting for one more quarter of data to have the full year. We are organizing the town halls to get out there to talk about this. But organizing it to 7 beats is a strong positive. We tried posting for multiple part-time positions like code enforcement, but we didn't find much luck in hiring the part-time roles in this day and age. And so we did land a very good part-time person. And so we're trying to basically merge the opened part-time roles into continuing a strong full-timer who wants to be retained within the city.
Well, we do appreciate it, Mayor, and with numbers like that, this is great, because in the past, it would be like, we can't really do nothing about it, but we knew we had ways to get it down. I know that the preventative and the sewers and what we've been doing to treat is not a mistake. The numbers are showing, so that is great for the vector aspect. And for my colleagues, I just want to say, like, myself and in the, a lot of us that have been around, if you see something or a resident sees something, or a broken window, a broken gutter, I've called it in to the directors and to send an email and say this gutter is broken down. Because I completely agree, and I've said it many times throughout my tenure. I believe in that theory that, and in the past, we had directors or employees driving the neighborhoods and seeing it. So I know you don't want to call on your neighbor, be neighborly, but if you find somebody's roof is coming off, or they have broken windows, these problems will only exacerbate. So we do need to get a hold of them, and there is programs in which we help people do these things if they can't do them themselves. But for the residents and for the city of Dearborn, and for my colleagues, if you see a gutter down or something, just call it into the department, or send an email in with a record, and then they will get to it, and we'll get it resolved. But thank you, Director Kennedy. Any other questions or comments? Any objection to unanimous roll? Unanimous roll shall be attached. Next item.
Item 29, resolution by Council President Pro Tem Herrick, supported unanimously, offering condolences to the family of Melanie Miley and requesting immediate effect.
Thank you. Melanie Miley was a lifelong Dearborn resident, born on July 27th, 1953, and she passed away on November 2nd, 2024, at the age of 71. Melanie was the cherished daughter of William and Dorothy Miley, lifelong partner of James Mack, beloved sister of Annette and her husband Ray Duffany, and Jim Miley. She was a second mom to Jim's daughters, Katie, Jennifer, Melanie, Lauren, and Sarah. And she was adored by her cousin Doug and his wife Sandy Miley and their family. In 1971, Melanie graduated from Fordson High School, where early on she became known unofficially as Miss Congeniality for Dearborn because of her unforgettably cheerful and welcoming personality. Melanie pursued her passion for education with a bachelor's degree from Central Michigan University, and her love for teaching led her to earn a master's degree in education from Marygrove College. Melanie made a tremendous impact on her colleagues and countless students as she devoted an outstanding 37 years of her career to the Dearborn Public Schools. She taught home economics and physical education at both Maples and Woodworth Junior High. And she was not only a teacher, but also a lively cheer and track coach whose kindness and encouragement inspired countless students. Melanie's classrooms were filled with energy, laughter, and warmth, qualities that endeared her to her students, who held her in the highest degree. Melanie's dedication to her community went far beyond the walls of her classrooms. She was a lifetime member of the Sokol Detroit organization, which focuses on fitness and education about the culture and history of the Czech and Slavic people. There, Melanie built lasting friendships with others who shared her passions as she participated and led numerous fitness, health, gymnastics, and fundraising activities that had positive impacts on children and adults. Most notably, Melanie served on Dearborn's City Beautiful Commission for more than 4 decades, having been appointed in 1978 by Mayor John B. O'Reilly Sr. She was an active participant in many of the cleanup parades at Dearborn Elementary Schools and other activities, such as City Beautiful Awards, riding bikes with the Bike Dearborn group through the Healthy Dearborn Initiative, and most recently, attending the Junior City Beautiful Commission or breakfast with students who represent every one of Dearborn's public schools. Melanie also worked for the Dearborn City Clerk during elections, where she made it her mission to greet her Dearborn friends and former students with a familiar smile and kind words, just as she did everywhere she went. Even during her own difficult times, Melanie's generosity and compassion remained unwavering, always showing kindness to her neighbors whenever she could. In recognition of her selfless contributions, Melanie received a Good Neighbor citation from Dearborn's Councilwoman Nancy Hubbard in 2011, noting, "Your acts of kindness have made the neighborhood a more welcome place to live." Melanie was a true light in the lives of everyone who knew her. She was a ray of sunshine and sparkle in every room she entered, and a source of encouragement and strength to all who had the good fortune to know her as a friend, teacher, mentor, or colleague. Melanie never missed a moment to celebrate life's joyful moments. She loved shopping, traveling, and dining with friends, collecting things that make people, especially children, smile, such as her collection of holiday Santa bears, holiday Barbies, and Beanie Babies. A little side note, if you visit the Pajeski Gallery during the holidays, you might just see some of those holiday bears from her collection. Those who only interacted with Melanie briefly at one of the countless hometown events she attended, from Dearborn's Homecoming Festival to the Memorial Day Parade, probably remember Melanie from her welcoming smile, infectious laugh, or her bright and bold fashion choices that accurately portrayed her vibrant personality. Melanie was a shining example of what renowned author Maya Angelou was known to say. "I've learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel." Excuse me. May we honor Melanie's legacy by carrying forward her love for the Dearborn community, her commitment to service, and her unbreakable spirit. Melanie will be deeply missed by her family, fellow City Beautiful commissioners, former students and colleagues, and many, many friends. And she could count me among those. To all, we offer our most heartfelt sympathy and sincere condolences.
Thank you, Councilman Herrick. And a unanimous roll shall be attached.
Council President, if I may.
Mayor, absolutely.
You know, Melanie was a dedicated lifelong public servant and amongst the best that Dearborn residents has to offer. Countless decades of service, not only to City Beautiful, but to anybody in need. And she was an individual who, whenever we crossed paths, always embraced with warmth. And whenever she saw my daughters, she filled up the room with joy and with a big smile for them. And somebody who treats your family like that is no different than any other family member that you have. And so to her family, I wish you all the patience in the world. May God rest her soul. May God grant you all patience for this difficult moment.
Thank you, Mayor. And a unanimous roll shall be attached. Next item.
Item 30, resolution by council members Herrick and El Swafi granting permission to the Dearborn Goodfellows to allow volunteers to sell newspapers at the intersections of the streets throughout Dearborn from December 6th through December 8th for the annual No Child Without a Christmas collection and requesting immediate effect.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. This request is given by the Dearborn Goodfellow Volunteers to give the Dearborn Goodfellow Volunteers permission to work in the intersections and streets at various locations throughout Dearborn to sell the Goodfellow newspapers. The money raised from this event is being used to buy presents and essentials for underprivileged children, individuals for Christmas. This year's event is Friday, December 6th, 2024 through Sunday, December 8th, and immediate effect is being requested. Yeah. Would you like to come forward? Yeah.
Good evening, thank you very much. My name is Silvio Davis, President of Dearborn Goodfellows. First off, I've got to thank council, mayor's administration, and all the city employees that make our mission a success. No Child Without a Christmas. We wouldn't be able to do it. It's a team effort between the city of Dearborn and the Dearborn Public Schools. We service roughly around 1,000 kids. As of this morning, we were a little over 800, but the applications are open until the end of the month, so we are expecting 900-ish. Yeah, so thank you again for listening to us, allowing us, and working with us, and making our mission a success. We do have some other dates coming up, just so you all know. November 25th is our annual photo, followed by a luncheon. That'll be at 11:30 at Park Place, and then we will package and load up our trucks on December 20th at Village Ford at 6 p.m. That's the body shop on Keene Street. And then the 21st, we'll be out delivering from 8 to noon. Usually takes about 4 hours. So we'll be delivering on the 21st, 8 a.m. to noon, get all those 800 kids taken care of, and have a good holiday season. So if you have any spare change, the 6th through the 8th, please give it back to us. We'd love it, and it all adds up quickly, so thank you.
It does add up. I've had the pleasure. Is this dates changed in the past?
It's always the first weekend of December, so yeah.
It just was a lot colder when I was doing it.
Yeah, no rain this year, so we get.
I can tell you, I mean, look, you'll be surprised how many people stop and I've had people empty their whole change cup into their, it's a great cause. It touches so many people, and it just shows you what kind of community we have. So great work, and we appreciate your leadership. And you've been timely on submitting these requests lately, last couple of years.
Well, if you knew the behind the scenes on it, yes, I'm ahead of the game here.
You are ahead of the game. So yeah, hopefully you'll see some of my colleagues and people you recognize out there. So stop if you see them, and you know, whatever you can spare, it's going for a great cause, and it does make a difference. So we do appreciate it. So look forward to seeing the good fellows out in the intersections.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
All right. Any objection to unanimous roll? Unanimous roll shall be attached. Next item.
Item 31, resolution by council members Herrick and Enos authorizing the mayor to renew the citywide membership with the Down River Community Conference in the amount of $21,419.71 for the period of October 2023 to September 2024, and requesting immediate effect.
All right, thank you, Mr. Clerk. The city of Dearborn has been a member of the Down River Community Conference since 2001. The mayor's office requests authorization to renew the citywide membership with the Down River Community Conference, or DCC, for October 2023 through September 2024. With the DCC's concurrence, this membership renewal request was delayed until the DCC was able to submit its annual return on investment report, or ROI, which was received on October 2024. The DCC is established through intergovernmental agreement for the purpose of assisting communities with federal and state government agencies, and immediate effect is being requested to avoid any possible interruption in service. Any questions or comments? Any objection to unanimous roll? Unanimous roll shall be attached. Next item.
Item 32, resolution by council members Al Sawafi and Hamud concurring in the appointment of Ali Farhat to the Housing Commission with a term ending June 30th, 2027, and requesting immediate effect.
All right, thank you, Mr. Clerk. This is a new appointment for Ali Farhat to the Housing Commission. This appointment filling a vacancy for a 5-year term, the current term ending on June 30th, 2027. And then again, remember, a reminder, the failure of a multi-body member appointee to possess the required qualifications for appointment by this charter or law shall result in a member's immediate vacancy from the multi-member body to which it is being appointed. Any questions or comments? Again, we want to thank everyone on our boards. These are all volunteer, unpaid positions that are a good way to help give back to your community, and we'd like to thank Mr. Farhat for his service. Any questions or comments? Any objection to unanimous roll? Unanimous roll shall be attached. Next item.
Nothing further from the clerk's office. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Clerk. For my colleagues, I have just a couple small ones, and I'll open up. First, I just want to recognize our finance department, congratulate them for receiving the Certificate of Achievement of Excellence in Financial Reporting that was received for the 3rd year from the Government Finance Offices of Associations of U.S. and Canada for comprehensive annual reporting. So this is a tremendous job. We really do appreciate that. 3 years in a row. It's a big deal. Accounting does matters, folks. We don't have the opportunity to do like the Pentagon and say we can't find, $100 and some billion dollars. Don't worry about it. We have to find every dime. So, Mr. Kennedy, we do appreciate you, Corey, your whole team. It does matter. So I wanted to make sure you recognize that. A couple small things for myself. I wanted to wish everybody a very, very happy Thanksgiving. It's a great time. You get kids coming home from college, people you haven't seen in a long time. Some of them you don't want to see. Some you want to see, right? It's a great time, a lot of fun. We get to watch the Lions. Maybe we'll get a win this time. So it's a great time of the year. I wanted to remind everybody to enjoy your time with your family. And a couple small things, note to think about. Of course, it's deer season. I live in the area where I seen maybe an 8 or 10 pointer in front of my house today. Yeah, incredible.
Don't shoot it.
Don't shoot it. Right? And a coyote in the backyard the other day. So, folks,
Can't shoot that.
I won't shoot it. I sent you the video, Mayor. So I just want everybody to know, during all this wonderful feasting and food eating, bag up the garbage real tight, put it in the lid, make sure the lid's down, or you're going to have some unwanted people in the area. Unwanted guests. But in all seriousness, wonderful time of the year. For myself, my family, and to all the families out there. No matter what religion, race, denomination you have, you always look back and say, thank God, what a great year we had. Could always have been worse. It's always good to have your family around you. Good times are, these are things that you never forget. So enjoy your time and have a great holiday season. I'd like to open up to my colleagues. Councilman El-Sawafi.
Thank you, Council President. I recently had the honor of doing a one-day ride-along with the Dearborn Fire Department. And during that time, I got to see firsthand what our fire department goes through every day. And I had the privilege of having Captain Scott Stockinger as my guide, who gave me a comprehensive tour of the fire station and showed me some of the state-of-the-art technology that we use to keep our community safe. But I will say one of the most impactful moments for me was seeing the retirement wall. Captain Stockinger pointed out the names of the retired firefighters and also indicated to me which firefighters passed away or were diagnosed with cancer. For me, it was a stark reminder of the sacrifices these heroes make for our community. And this experience has deepened my gratitude for the men and women of the Dearborn Fire Department. Their service is invaluable and they deserve our utmost respect and support. And I for sure will always be committed to working with our city council colleagues to ensure that our fire department has the resources and support they need to continue their vital work. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you, absolutely. Councilman Herrick?
Thank you, Council President. I guess this is the first council meeting we've had since the presidential election, and I just wanted to thank the city clerk's office and the staff for giving me confidence that my vote is counted and it's held in secrecy and professionally dealt with. I know that there's a lot of work that goes into that, the training, the amount of staff that we have. And no matter what the outcome of the election, I know in Dearborn we're doing it the right way. That's why I've been involved in community for decades, getting to know, as a volunteer and working for the schools and working for the city, getting to know the leaders of our community, from our neighborhoods to the people that sit up here, to the folks that work, behind the scenes, keeping our votes safe. By being involved, I know firsthand that we are doing things right here in Dearborn. And so I just want to thank the clerk and his team, who work so hard to make sure that there's transparency in what they're doing, and that, the public understands through their communications, or if they visit one of the election sites, they can ask questions and feel confident that their vote is being handled correctly. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Councilman Herrick. Any other comments from my colleagues? All right, anything from Mayor and Administration?
Yeah, I think just to dovetail, I'm just checking it there real quick. Just to dovetail off of Councilwoman Herrick's comments, Congratulations to all the civic clerk staff for a successful election. And I think just a reminder to residents, I think, it's obviously always highly debated what happens post an election. You see all the political pundits trying to analyze precinct data and then give their anecdotes for why they think people voted the way that they did. My 2 cents is, if you haven't talked to our residents, if you haven't spoken to our communities, don't weigh in. If you didn't show up during the election, don't talk about what went wrong after the election. I think that's also important to note. And lastly, to our residents, lean on your local folk. The folks up on this council and in our office and your school board and your state house have far more impact on your day-to-day than anybody in the White House. I really want to make that clear. And so lean on your locals. And as Dearborn always does, we come together regardless of what the election of any presidential race is. And we support one another and uplift one another. And I think that's what Dearborn does best, and that's what we'll continue to do. And just a reminder, this Monday is our Christmas tree lighting ceremony, Monday at 5 o'clock. We obviously have a beautiful Christmas tree over at the Civic Center. We welcome you. We'll have, all the treats and hot cocoa, and I don't know if we'll have reindeer again this year, but we'll bring reindeer, and so feel free to come and bring your family. And just to the point of the council president, obviously, Thanksgiving is upon us. It's a moment for all of us to reflect. There's a lot happening across the globe. As somebody whose wife has lost, several relatives now overseas, it's a time to just celebrate the family and be with them in this really difficult time. And so, wishing everybody the best always, praying for peace, praying for justice, and praying that we as a community stand above the fray. So, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Clerk, anything from your department?
Yeah, I just wanted to, first of all, thank you for the comments regarding our office, because I take pride in what they do. They work very hard. A lot of them worked, my deputy and election supervisor worked 70-hour work weeks for a month, and prepared for this election. So it was a big undertaking. Our full-time staff, again, I want to thank the mayor and his administration for allowing his department heads and their deputies to help us in getting this election done in a professional way, and having the mayor step in and wanting to do that was very, very important to me, and I appreciate that very much. We had constant contact before the election also with a lot of civic-minded groups. We talked to M-Gage, League of Women Voters, Access, YABA. We had the Democratic Party and the Republican Party involved, not together in the same room, of course. But we had them working and helping us, making sure that that things were going well, and we addressed their concerns ahead of the election, so there wouldn't be as many concerns on the day of the election. So the result of all of that was a smooth election with very few issues. I had a great conversation with the police department and the police chief, and there were very few incidents the whole day. People behaved themselves, and they knew how important this election was, and no major concerns. So again, thanking the police department as well. It was a total team effort, and it was my honor to be a part of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. All right, and next we will turn to our final public comment portion of our meeting. If there's anyone here to address the council, there's public comment cards, or you can just be recognized, come up to the podium. You have state your name and address, and there's a 3-minute time limit. Again, just try to keep your questions or comments regarding city business for the council. Okay. If no one's here to address the council, okay, hearing and seeing none, I have a motion to adjourn. Motion to adjourn by Councilman Hamud. We are adjourned.